I have spent summers in many different countries. I come from Germany, so I've spent many summers there. I spent summers in Austria, and particularly in Vienna. I have spent summers in the UK, in London, even in Singapore, which pretty much is summer all year round. So believe me when I say that the most magical, the best summers are actually here in Sweden. And also Swedish people know best, because I know quite a lot of Swedes who live abroad and come back for the Swedish summers. So let me tell you in today's video why the Swedish summer is so magical. I have the feeling the longer I live here, the more I know why Swedish summer is so special for everyone, including me. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. There's a link in the description down below, and grab your little ebook with 10 questions if Sweden is the right fit for you. I think I found 8 reasons why summers in Sweden are so amazing. And not only I think that, Swedes think that, people who visit Sweden, people who moved here like me, and also people who want to move here. So let's go through these 8 reasons and let me know in the comments down below what you think. Where are the best summers in this world? Hey friends, before we dive into the video, here is a quick money tip for the curious of you, especially if you are in Sweden or just getting started with investing. This video is in paid partnership with eToro. I think eToro is a fantastic beginner-friendly option. And what stood out to me is how simple the interface is. It's clean, it's intuitive, and it doesn't feel overwhelming if you're new. A few things I think are super practical. eToro is fully regulated in Europe, so you are using a platform that follows strict financial guidelines. You can also explore different assets in one place. Real stocks, zero commission ETFs, crypto, indices, and even CFDs if you know what you're doing. And if you just want to learn before you risk anything, there's an unlimited demo account and lots of educational resources, so you can practice and get comfortable. Now here is the cool part for you. Using my link, you can get free stock trading for 3 months. I actually will leave you 2 different links in the description down below, so you can choose either English or Swedish. So if you're curious, check it out, set up your demo account and see if it fits how you want to manage your money. eToro is a multi-asset investment platform. The value of your investments may go up or down. Your capital is at risk. Thanks to eToro for supporting this channel, and thanks to you for supporting my partners that let me keep making videos. Now back to the video. So first of all, there are so many lakes and there is the sea. I know if you have watched a few of my videos, I mentioned that already, but we actually live very close to a lake. It's 5 minutes by car or 10 minutes by bike, and we actually have several beaches around that lake where we can hang out and spend our time during summer. Honestly, it still amazes me how beautiful Sweden is with the lakes and the beaches. And if you ask me now why I probably would want to move to Sweden, it's probably now my number 1 reason, which I definitely didn't know before I moved to Sweden. Or at least not in that capacity, and especially not in terms of feelings. I know that summers are not very long in Sweden, but I think that probably adds a little bit to the magic that you want to make the most out of this amazing time. I think if you have summer all year round, it's just not that special anymore. And I can tell from my experience when I lived in Singapore, I was at some point quite fed up, with the constant heat. Everyone was just escaping inside to air conditioning. So people were not even spending so much time outside like people do here in Sweden during summer. I also love that the water is really refreshing, and I'm really imagining living here and seeing my kids growing up. We're already spending quite a bit of time by the beaches and they absolutely love it. And I can see when they're getting older, they're meeting up with friends, they sit on these rocks by a lake and just, chat and have a good time. And honestly, those lakes are everywhere. Like if you live in a city in Stockholm, you have so many amazing viewpoints actually you can check out and hang out. So it's not even reduced to a particular area in Sweden. It's everywhere. The next reason is that, you know, people can go island hopping. So it's also a reason related to kind of like lakes and water and the sea. But before I moved to Sweden, I never really heard of that word archipelago. And that's basically what's around Stockholm in particular. There's an archipelago, like lots of islands you can visit. Some a little bit bigger, some smaller. Some are actually connected with a bridge, so you can drive over there. But normally you take a boat to an island and then you can have a fika there, you have cafes, you have more beaches, you have nature, you can go for walks, you can go by bike. It looks so beautiful. I don't even know any island which is kind of like not so nice. The other day I actually explored Vaxholm. I've never been before, but I heard about it, and we were driving with a car there actually because it was just easier. And honestly, it was so lovely to just be in this little, I don't know if you can say village town. I mean, it felt quite not big, but you know, there were quite a few shops, and then there we visited the castle, and we actually took a boat to the castle. And I could just like walk around there and feel super happy. It was a lovely sunny day as well. I couldn't wished for more. And although sometimes there could be quite a few people, you know, maybe tourists or so, I still had the feeling, you know, that no matter which island you're visiting, there are always like spaces where you can just be on your own, or, you know, walking around. Like it's not overwhelming at all. And there's so many islands you can explore, so it really doesn't get boring. I mean, we have so many islands still on our list, and we already live here 4 years. So it definitely doesn't get boring. And talking about boats, people also own boats here in Sweden. So maybe, I don't really know the number of people who own boats, but you will see a lot of boats, like private boats on the sea, on lakes, you know, any size really. And that's something really aspiring. Like I wish I had a boat, you know, our little family. At this moment, we cannot afford it. I would say it's not super cheap, but it also depends what kind of boat you have. Maybe you have just like a paddle boat or whatever, or even a canoe. You can like go to the islands, for example, or just take a little trip somewhere. That is really such a thing here during summer. Everyone is taking out their boat if they have one. But also recently we discovered there's a website where you can actually rent boats, like from private owners. Again, it's not super cheap, but it's probably much cheaper than buying a boat. So we're thinking of like maybe just renting a boat for 1 or 2 days and explore all the islands and the surroundings of like Stockholm and Stockholm land. So even if I'm not the biggest fan of boats, I just love the idea of having a little boat and going on a little adventure. What do you think? Would you love to own a boat? Let me know in the comments down below. Talking about another possession, people also own summer houses. I swear it's not all about possessions, but you know, summer houses are very popular here in Sweden. I don't know actually any other country where you can have a second property, you know, and it is not super expensive to actually buy a summer house here in Sweden, especially when you go up north. Although even the south has great summer houses and affordable summer houses. If you follow and subscribe to my channel, every month I will actually talk about properties here in Sweden, so you know what's out there. It is quite interesting. So I can see myself buying a summer house at some point, but I don't know if it would be the north of Sweden or the south of Sweden. I guess I still have some time to figure that out. What is also quite special in Sweden during summer is that people really seem happy. And I think in general, I feel like Swedes are actually quite polite and really nice people. Yes, they do complain about the weather, about the winters. Swedes also don't really like the cold and long winters, fair enough. But when it comes to summer, everyone's perspective just changed. Everyone is blooming and blossoming and are just very happy to get those vitamin D from the sun in. But I think that's the magic a little bit about Swedish summers as well, because the winters are so long and dark, you know. When it comes to summer, like, you really want to make the most out of it. You want to enjoy it. I mean, can you just imagine you're all grumpy during summer and thinking like, you know, why do I live in such a cold country? No, you will just really enjoy it and go out there and spend time in nature and by the lakes and by the water. You know, you have all these opportunities here in Sweden. So that's why I think people are just, you know, happier here in Sweden during summer. And you probably will notice that when you move here or when you visit Sweden during summer. One thing I also noticed here, during summer, everyone is kind of like leaving the cities and either going to their summer houses or spend more time in nature. I actually walked around Stockholm the other day, and yes, there were quite a few tourists, but the city was quite quiet, you know. I was walking around a little bit, sometimes meeting a few people here and there, but there were so many like quieter corners. I just walked around, felt very relaxed, and I was pretty much in the middle of the city. So I don't even think you have to escape from the city, but obviously spending time in nature is very beneficial as well and very beautiful as well. And I know I can't compare like Stockholm with London, for example, where I used to live for 10 years, because it's 9 times bigger than Stockholm. But you do not have this like, you know, noise and buzzing all the time. Some people would say like Stockholm is boring, or, you know, other cities in Sweden are boring. But honestly, I think it is not boring. It's more beautiful and calmer, and it is smaller for sure, but I think there are like 1.5 million people living in Stockholm, so it's not nothing, and you still don't feel it. And I think that's really great, especially in summer, but even in general, I would say it's not even that crazy, although I know others will disagree with me because they probably grew up in the countryside. And for them, like, Stockholm is quite big and some would even say ugly, which, I mean, maybe you have watched my other video where I was walking through Stockholm. I just mentioned it. But yeah, I made a video of it, so you can decide yourself if Stockholm is ugly or if it is beautiful during summer. And people go camping, and even wild camping. I know I mentioned it a few times in my videos. If you're following me, you have heard me saying that. But it totally makes sense for Sweden. You know, it's a safe country. It's a beautiful country. It has so much nature, so much water. Of course, you want to go out there and go camping. It's just a must in this country. And I know a lot of Germans who love camping in Sweden. My family was not a camping family, so we never did that actually as a family in Germany. So I don't know if it's particularly for my family or just in general. I know you can go camping in Germany, but I feel like Germans prefer to go to Sweden for their camping trips, especially during summer. And last year we went camping and met a lovely German family, and my kids got really along with their kids and had really great fun. And I feel also like Germans are much happier being here in Sweden and camping here in Sweden. So maybe this happiness, you know, Swedes have rubs off on Germans as well, because you can just spend time in nature, and that already makes you happier in general, right? But yeah, there are not only 1 million camping sites, probably a bit less than 1 million, but a lot of camping sites. There's also white camping, and we still haven't done it. Our kids are now 3 and 6 years old, but I feel like slowly they are ready for it. We went to another trip the other day around Teresta Park, and we saw some people actually wild camping there. And it has a little bit of preparation. You still have like a fire pit there, which looked so nice, and there was a lovely view. So I was really thinking we could just do it now and camp just for a few days with the kids, and I don't have to be like super scared that they run off or, you know, fall off a cliff or something like that. So when we are doing it, I will definitely document it here on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned. And last but not least, I think why also Swedish summers are amazing is because people really take a long time off. It is quite common that you take a few weeks off, sometimes 4 or 5 weeks during the summer. And, you know, you don't necessarily leave the countries. The Swedes don't always leave the countries. They spend time in their summer houses or traveling around Sweden because it's so beautiful. They know how their home country is so beautiful. Or they just stay at home sometimes and just really relax and recharge. And it makes sense, you know, to honor such a magical time and spend time, you know, relaxing rather than just working. I think in general, like Sweden has a very good like work attitude, like everything is set up for people to want to work, you know, and make it happen. But at the same time, there is this work-life balance where you don't want to spend all your time at work. And especially when it comes to summer, you want to have proper time off and enjoy yourself. So these are the 8 reasons why I think Swedish summer is the best. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching till the end, and I hope to see you in my next video. Hej då!